Hello, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV. Today we're just going to take a look at how we set up our Hobie 14 at Wild Wind Sailing Holidays Beach Club and Resort. The first thing to bear in mind is that the mainsail that we're using on this boat is not a standard mainsail. This is an Evo mainsail from OS3 Sails, so it's a little bit punchier than the real Hobie 14 mainsail. The second thing to consider is all that I'm doing when we're setting up our Hobie 14 is setting it up so that it feels good when it's windy. So let's take a look. Before I start, I'm quite happy to announce that I really don't know much about tuning the Hobie 14. All that I've done is set the boat up so it feels fantastic, that's all. So the numbers that I'm going to give you are just what I've found to feel really good for the style of sailing that we're doing here, which is largely sailing on reaching courses. We're not really sailing upwind at all, and we're only sailing heavy winds using the Evo sail. If you do have a 14, especially if you race, then in the comments below please put your settings so that we can all learn from your experience and what settings are winning in the racing fleet. But let's have a look at how I've set this up here and what numbers we're using there. Firstly, with the mast rake, I'm going to measure this by using the main halyard. So I'm taking the main halyard, pulling it tight, and I'm going to place it on the bolt for the bow tang, and then I'm going to take that while pulling it tight. So then I'm going to take the main halyard and find out which part, pulling it tight again, touches the back bottom corner of the hull. And then, so I've got these 2 points, I'm going to measure the distance between these 2 points, and what we've got there is 42 centimeters. So if we had less mast rake, this distance would be less. If we had more mast rake, it would be more. But for us, 42 centimeters seems to be the sweet spot. So for the rig tension, I wouldn't usually use a loose gauge on a boat like this, but I've done it just to see what it says. And what we're reading is 19 on the loose gauge. That's bearing in mind that we're using coated 5mm shroud wire. So in a more practical sense, how much rig tension? If I pull down on the trapeze wire, I'm about 90 kilos, maybe 85 in my socks. If I pull that down, it takes kind of one arm pull for the shroud to go slack. So it's not a lot of rig tension if you compare it to an F18 style boat, but it's about the same as what we'd have on a 16 in the light winds. Okay, so here I am under the trampoline. This is the only other thing of interest that I can think of with regards to the 14 here, and we've just got this cable that runs underneath the trampoline, and this is part of our structural stability. This is actually what's holding the mast up. On the loose gauge, this cable is at 25, so that's pretty tight. We get that tension by putting the main sheet blocks around the trampoline like we would lacing the trampoline normally, and then we wind this on, then release the main sheet, and then we've got our tension. But this is very important for the structural stability of the boat and keeping the mast up. So other than that, what can you say? Very important, of course, to have the rudders tuned correctly. Do check out the servicing your Hobie rudders video if you haven't yet serviced your Hobie rudders. But I think other than that, it's all about how you sail the boat. Once again, if you have been racing a 14 and there's some settings that you use, put them in the comments below so that we can all learn from your experience. Otherwise, I hope this has been interesting and informative. Thanks again to everybody who's been supporting the channel. and we'll see you in the next one. Off we go.